Let's Talk Oculus, a VR podcast, is proudly sponsored by the good folks at Patreon. If you want to support the show, join us on patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. What's up, Oculus nerds? Welcome back to Let's Talk Oculus, episode 60. I am Dan, and with me as always, the non-metaverse self. It's going to be the in real life Samson. How you doing?
Hello, hello, hello. Here I am without my purple cap from Walkabout. I am doing pretty well. This morning got a little story to start off here. Took a little drive. Because I saw on Twitter BMF tweeted out that Best Buy was doing Quest Pro demos. So I Googled where that was going on in my home state, drove 45 minutes, show up, see the guy with the Quest MetaQuest t-shirt. Said, "Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Are you doing the demos?" And he says,
So polite. "Excuse me, sir."
Yeah. He says, he is doing the demos, yeah. But they will begin next week after he completes his training. He hadn't finished his training yet.
Wait, and, do you know when he finishes training? Is there like a date?
No, he said he'd be good next weekend. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I will not be around next weekend probably. I might go to a different Best Buy and try that out. But yeah, I'm not sure how he got his job or anything, but it seems pretty sweet. Like, show up at Best Buy for 5 hours on the weekends and show people VR. But yeah,
You should have applied to that job. You should have applied to that job.
I came home and I Googled like how to find this. I couldn't find it. I don't know how this job exists. So
I don't know how either. Maybe it's just an actual Best Buy employee who just got like.
Yeah, maybe who wears the Quest. Yeah,
maybe they just like chose one. Oh, this guy's into VR, you can do it or something. But that's a shame. You got to see it, but in the like glass box. But that's about it, right?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
that's interesting to talk about. We will talk about that and more. Episode 60 is going to be jam-packed with reactions to that Meta Quest. We finally got confirmation of the Quest Pro, the official release date, all the juicy details and such. So we're diving into that, and we'll also dive into some of the release dates because we got Among Us, Walking Dead, and some more. So a little bit surprising that it was only a small segment of gaming, but we did get it. So we'll definitely dive into that. But before we get into things, if you're new here, Let's Talk Oculus is available on all good podcast platforms and some rubbish ones as well. You can see Samson's pretty face on YouTube, and we have a fantastic Discord community where you can hang out, play multiplayer games, big screen events, and the lot. And come November 10th, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Among Us for most of our playthroughs, to be honest.
Oh yeah, lots of sus to go around.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm pretty certain it is probably going to be Jenna every time.
Jenna in the Patreon and the Discord, we're looking at you. If you know with the sus. But finally, if you really love us, throw us $1 at Patreon. All the links will be in the description below. Samson, any fun things in VR that you did this week?
Not much VR this week. I did get into Puzzling Places, and I did try it in the pass-through mode. I did another 100-piece puzzle, completed it in about 25 minutes.
I bet you're craving that color pass-through that you saw on the Connect with the Puzzling Places, eh? You know, you could potentially watch TV at the same time, like clearly.
A lot of apparently the color pass-through seems disappointing. I think people's expectations are a little high on that one.
We'll talk about that in a second. For me, I didn't bring my VR headset. I'm in the UK at the moment. I'm here for a couple of weeks. I didn't bring it just because the carry-on luggage is so expensive now. They wanted to charge, I think, $130 USD. And I was like, I'm coming to my parents' house. I don't need that much stuff. I might as well leave the VR headset. But on that, the next week's show, we're not going to have one. But it's just because I'm busy and it seems like Samson's also busy. I have a wedding to attend to. But the fun thing is, though, even though we're going to miss next week, the week after, I will definitely have hands-on with the Quest Pro. I've pre-ordered it straight off the gate. Samson probably will have a little bit of hands-on if he gets to a Best Buy if the person's done his training. So maybe we'll have a hands-on. So we'll have a lot more detail, I'll show it and such. So that one's going to be a really fun episode as well. So not to worry if we're going to miss next week, because it's going to be worth the wait. It's going to be worth the wait.
All right, yeah.
Let's start with the Connect, or let's go through the Connect. We're not going to go through everything. If you want a full breakthrough, definitely check out Upload VR. They've got a really good 30-minute in review. I actually watched it on the train. I was on the train earlier just to get preparation for this podcast. We're not going to go through everything. We're going to go through the stuff that we think is going to be most useful. Samson, before we kind of go through the nitty-gritty, what did you think overall? Because last year it was a pretty meh podcast, although we had some crazy expectations and predictions.
Yeah, I think my expectations were a bit more reasonable this time. I enjoyed it. I didn't expect it to be a whole lot of gaming, and it wasn't really a whole lot of gaming. And there's a whole lot of business, but some of the business stuff was pretty interesting, I guess, for like the future. And yeah, overall, I was pretty pleased.
Yeah. I thought it was solid. I thought it was really solid. I think the pacing was really good in the presentation. They did do business, obviously, because that's probably what the Quest Pro's made for, but it wasn't that boring. I think Microsoft's part, they kind of lingered a little bit too much, but like overall, it was just interesting to see what you could do with the headset. And yeah, there's a little bit of fluff, and I think I remember watching what's his name? I forgot his name. Comedy YouTuber, who we had on the podcast once. I totally forgot his name.
Oh, Obscure Nerd.
Obscure Nerd, that's it. I was watching some of his didn't watch it all, but I saw he was doing like a live reaction to it. He was just like, come on, just show me the headset, because it's been like 45 minutes and you didn't see the headset and such. But I think overall in pacing, I watched it a little bit later, but I kind of tried to avoid some spoilers and just sat there and I was like, this is actually really good and makes me want to get this Quest Pro. I'm most likely going to return it. I did pre-order it, but I just wanted to pre-order it just for this podcast so I could talk about it and kind of use it in the flesh.
Keep it.
It is. $1,500 is a lot. If it was Apple's, I think I would go for it just because I'm more of a Mac user, but because with the Meta and such, with the Word, probably won't keep it. But it's a sexy ass headset. But okay, let's kind of dive in individually. We'll get to the Quest Pro in a little while. Let's talk about the games and Horizon Worlds. So the first thing I wanted to speak about, just because I think it really relates to us, is that Horizon Worlds is getting a model importing feature, so you can now have better graphics. You can now put in 3D models that people create from like Blender or other softwares and put it into Horizon Worlds. Don't think that feature's out right now, but it's something that's coming soon. The reason why I just want to mention it, I know Jenna and Dave in the Discord are really enthusiastic of creating like a Let's Talk Oculus world, like a world for the podcast, for like a hangout space, and I know we are too. But I think there's going to be a big thing, so we can start importing maybe the actual logo and some more stuff that makes a little bit of sense later on.
Yeah, they're trying to make the app an actual good app.
Yeah, there's somebody who follows me on Twitter recently. I don't remember what their name was, but they work for Meta, and they asked like, what would you like to see in the Quest, or what would you like to see in the future or something? And I said to him, just a world where, the say the Discord people or whatever your friends or party as such can all meet up in, and then go into any game afterwards. Like say we're all now in a hub, and then we can go, okay, let's decide what do we want to do. Because I know at the moment when we have our Discord games, there's a lot of back and forth on Discord trying to figure out what we want to do, or should we just start and walk about and go from there? But it'd be nice just to all meet up VR like at say 7:30, and then let's just decide from there. Let's dive into whatnot.
Yeah, right? Like, hey, let's meet at a certain time and place in the metaverse, and then go from there. Yeah, that's a solid idea.
Yeah, and I just want to shout. I want to say something just directly to the patrons that we have here. We want to make this Let's Talk Oculus world for everybody, and for the patrons especially. If you want to get in touch I know obviously Jenna and Dave are super keen, but if any of the other ones, the patrons are super into maybe designing the world, we kind of just need some like ideas, blueprints. We'll obviously all kind of pitch in to actually make it, but like just some drawings or something to kind of like think what would be good ideas to put in this world. That would be great. Or if you're just on the Discord, if you want to shout us some suggestions, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Yeah.
All right, let's go into the actual games. So we had a few games. Let's start with we'll start with the least important one, I would say, is the population one. That's getting a sandbox
That's the
mode.
least important one.
I think so.
Wow.
I think so. I think the other ones are more exciting, but that's
I mean, it's. I mean, I think that this one's pretty damn exciting, at least for Population One. I don't know. Maybe it's because neither of us really play Population One, but
probably
world building, launching in December, and it just seems huge. It's like because really that one map was just getting pretty stale in Pop One.
Is it just one? They haven't made a second map or anything? I haven't been in it.
No, they built like different areas or sort of like
Right.
change up with air, but it's pretty much still the same map as day one. And people who, or I'd heard people who have played that game for, who are very good at that game, put in a lot of time, just know every nook and cranny and just cream newbies.
Yeah.
And so playing on new maps will definitely
Open it
improve
up a
that
bit
problem.
more.
Yeah.
For sure. It looks like their answer to Bone Lab in a way where they can actually people can go in there and create almost anything they want, but with Population One's physics. So, you know, you can make your own first person. I guarantee you there's a really popular map in Call of Duty called Nuketown, I think it's called. And I guarantee you someone's gonna make something like Nuketown and it'll be a very, very popular map.
I think someone made that in like Onward too. I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, it's a very,
Maybe
I would say it's a very
contractors.
iconic map just because it's so small and just fun. It's just a very quick map, and I feel
Yeah.
like people will make some of those maps. So, yeah, I mean, I say it's the least exciting one, but it's still, I would say all of these announcements they've given out, I think they were pretty exciting, to be honest. They hit the right ones that we really needed to know. And Population One, that's coming in December, like you said.
Behemoth is the least exciting.
I guess so. Well, let's quickly talk about that. Behemoth is it's done by the same folks at Saints and Sinners.
I believe so,
yeah, they just did it was the only new game to quote unquote that we actually got an announcement for, but it was just a quick tease that Behemoth is the next game that they're going to work on. Probably going to be the first Quest 3 game. I'm going to put it out there. That might be a Quest 3 launch title, to be honest. But we didn't really see anything. So you're right. Yeah, maybe that should have started with that one.
We saw nothing. It was like a very slow pan to like some sort of Viking looking character. And
a behemoth.
And there was a claw. Yeah. And
Behemoth claw.
Yeah.
Speaking about Walking Dead though, we got a nice trailer. There's actually a more of a gory trailer on YouTube if you want to see like a more of a longer version that they didn't show in the conference. They kind of cut it out a little bit. But that now releases on December 1st, which surprised me. I thought that was going to be our next game, to be honest, but I'm actually glad. Gives me time to actually finish the damn first one. But it comes out
definitely
December
later
1st.
than I thought it would be. Yeah.
Yeah, December 1st. Looks good. I mean, there's not much else to say. It looks like this is going to be a solid game. I'm interested to see how it will. I feel like it would be really good with those new Quest Pro controllers because they have haptics. Because that's going to be a really good feature about, you know, with the PSVR version of this game too. So yeah, it releases on December 1, a little bit later.
Feel the heads as you're sticking a knife through them.
Feel the chainsaw as well.
That's a chainsaw.
Speaking of chainsaw, I always appreciate Gears of War did the chainsaw really nice, even though the controller was just vibration. It did feel really good as it was as it cuts through whoever you're cutting through. Fan favorite here. Let's just talk about Among Us VR. There's not much else to say about it, but it releases November 10th, and I was so excited when I saw that announcement because I thought that was going to be a December game.
Yeah, it's here almost, and it's gonna be
less than a month away. We're less than a month away.
I am a little sad because all I've seen is that one map.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish they made a map for VR or incorporated at least one of the other maps. But maybe they're just gonna start with one then slowly
Maybe
build
they're
more.
gonna wait to see how it's doing, but it comes out November 10th. Um, and if you pre-order now, you can actually pre-order now. If you pre-order now, you get a free mini crewmate hat to customize your avatar, which is
Okay.
pretty cool. Yeah, you get a little hat. It's
I
nine ninety
did
nine.
pre-order,
Yeah, so
but
you'll get a
then
hat
I realized I wanted to pre-order it on
on
Steam.
Steam.
So yeah.
So you pre-order it
No,
twice.
I don't think I can unpre-order it. Yeah.
It's 9.99, which is the most expensive among us, I guess. But I think it's really good. I half expected it to be a little bit more, just because how much what they're doing with the game. But yeah, 9.99. It's 8 to 10 players, which is amazing, and it's cross-platform play. So it's gonna be a hell of a game. I don't know if it will have more than one map to start off with, but I don't think it
I don't think it
matters
will.
too much.
We haven't seen any clips or footage from the other maps, so I think it'll
No.
just be that one map scaled, and then hopefully they bring Polus because that's really the best map.
See, I don't really know too
But
much because I haven't played much Among Us, but yeah, I can't wait for you to school me.
yeah, I've
Everyone
got
else,
170 hours of Among Us in me,
wow,
so
you can teach us. I know Kimberly, Patreon and friend of the show, has never played before either, so it's gonna be fun.
yeah,
It'd be fun. I think a lot of people who have not played before are gonna jump into it in VR too.
yeah.
Um, and they're gonna have
It's
a
gonna
great
be a
time.
community builder, if you will.
I wonder
It's
what
gonna be fun.
I wonder how the not mini games, but the tasks that you have to do are gonna be
Yeah,
like.
there's definitely gonna be some new tasks, I imagine, or at least new interpretations of how to
Hmm.
complete those tasks. Yeah, pretty exciting. I'm excited for that one. That was gonna be a fun one, I think.
I'm
Only
buzzing as soon as I wasn't that excited, for a long time just because I thought it was always going to come in December, but now I know it's coming less than a month. I'm excited for it big time. Quick thing on Among Us. I actually watched a film yesterday. It's called Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. It's got is it Pete Davidson in it?
okay.
The whole premise of that show, or that horror movie, sorry, is basically Among Us. The whole
What do you
game that
mean?
they're playing is called Among Us. It's pretty much Among Us. It's how one person is the murderer, should I say,
Yeah,
and they turn off all the lights, and if they get tapped on the shoulder, they're dead, and then they turn on all the lights and they discuss who was the
that's
murderer.
it.
And I was like, this is Among Us. This is the
Yep,
best place to get a film
pretty
version.
much. It pretty much sounds like Among Us, but there's a bunch of like spin-off sort of games like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Um,
true. But yeah,
I am pretty excited actually about our last game here.
Iron Man VR.
Iron Iron Man VR. I think it's just the PSVR title
Yes.
ported over.
Yeah.
It comes out on November 3rd, and kind of it looks pretty sweet. It looks pretty cool to be Iron Man.
It
I'm not even
is.
that into superheroes, as you all
It's
know.
I believe, and I could be wrong on the facts here, but I believe it's the biggest PSVR title in terms of sales. And pretty much any time you try and buy a PSVR, in terms of if you go to the shop right now, probably 99% of the time it's going to be bundled with Iron Man because
Mm,
it's like the system seller. I never played this when I had a PSVR because it came out later before I
got
sold
rid
it.
of it. Yeah.
But yeah, everyone's been talking about this, and the problem is that I looked at Upload VR because they had like a little preview of it, and they said the PSVR version had awful load times, and the Move controllers were an issue because obviously the Move controllers weren't made for VR really.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Yeah, they were terrible, and they're both fixed in the Quest 2 version. So it's gonna be the best version of it, and that comes out on November 3rd. I don't know what the price is of the PSVR version one, but I feel like it'd probably be the same or whatever that one is. Um,
Yeah, I don't
that
know
comes on
either.
November 3rd. So if you want like a title just to, if you're itching for a title just before Among Us comes out a week before, then Iron Man's gonna be it. But yeah, you should definitely have a look at Upload VR's a little playthrough, a preview of that because you can really sense the game. I thought this was going to be a meh, like a quick title, but no, it's one of the biggest games in PSVR, Iron Man
Yeah,
VR.
it's a
So
huge one. Yeah, it was definitely very popular. People recommended that one.
yeah, I'm glad to see that. To be honest, that was like the I think Techman when he was on the show recently, he was a bit annoyed that PSVR just has Iron Man. He says, I want to play it on my Quest or PC or whatever. But now you
Yeah,
can, untethered as well, which I think will be even better.
there you have
Even
it.
better. There you have it. All right. Let's talk about the monkey in the room, the big elephant. It's the Quest Pro. It's the Quest Pro. So let's talk about this. So let's give you some quick facts about the Quest Pro. Now, we got October 25th as a release date. It's 1,500 smackaroonies. Okay. It's dollars, it's pounds, it's the same. The headset comes with a charging dock. There is side light blockers that magnetize. The full one, if you want a full light blocker for the headset, is $50 more. Controllers are ringless, facial eye tracking. The battery is in the back, similar like the Pico 4. It is heavier than the Quest. I think it's around 700 something grams. Like it seems very heavy, but what I've heard from people who have tried it is that because the battery's in the back, it's balanced quite well, and you don't feel it as heavier as like the actual Quest 2
Yeah, it's
itself.
better weight distribution.
Yeah, absolutely. There's more. Obviously, there's more, and we'll talk about it. First of all, Samson, what did you think of the Quest Pro? We finally seen it in the flesh. It's a sexy headset,
there
isn't
it is. Finally unblurred. Yeah, I do like the black. Looks pretty nice. Looks pretty
What was it like when you
sleek,
saw it
if you will.
in person in the Best Buy? Did it just look exactly what it looked
Yeah,
like?
it looked the same. Yeah, it looked the same. I couldn't touch it or nothing. The controllers are pretty sweet, $300. They I'm curious if they'll work immediately for Quest 2. It seems
No, it's
like
an
there's
update
gonna
that's
be
coming,
a time.
yeah, later this year.
And then I guess developers will need to add things into their games to
Mm.
like I don't know, like if I'm playing Puzzling Places, can I play with the ringless controllers, like feel different, haptics or whatever?
Mm.
Probably a bad example with the puzzle game, but
Yeah. But like
bow and arrow game maybe or
can I
something.
feel
Yeah,
the piece if I'm or something like that.
yeah,
I think I saw a tweet from Ryan Engel who produces Golf Plus. I think I tweeted at him, and it seems like all the games will take advantage of the hardware out of the box. It should just be plug and play. But obviously, stuff like haptic feedbacks needs to be added because that's not present in the
yeah.
game and such, right? Um, yeah, I thought it was a freaking lovely device. That's the problem is it's like one of those the shiny objects, syndrome where you see it and it looks so nice and you're like, I just want to get
I
that.
mean, I
It
do
just
kind of want the controllers, but even that's pretty expensive if I do want a Quest 3 also in a year. Like, what
yeah.
am I gonna? I don't need these controllers for 8 months.
Now let's talk about the controllers. They're $300 if you wanted to buy them separately, which is $100 less than the actual Quest 2 itself, if I'm
Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
Honestly, it seems like an okay price for these two controllers and all that
Yeah.
they offer and do and have in them.
Hmm.
Uh,
I was about
yeah.
to say the Quest 2 controllers, if you wanted to buy them standalone, are about $200 as well, for a pair.
Yeah, I
So
think they were like 70 or something each from
yeah,
last I remember, but maybe they're more, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, they're almost a little bit they're close to that, right? It's like one controller is the same price as a PS5 controller alone, and you probably
Yeah.
need two. So it makes sense. So the controllers are very intriguing to me as well. The battery lasts up to 8 hours. There was a lot of misinformation saying that it was only 2 hours, but the battery actually lasts up to 8 hours on a full charge. Weird, you have to dock them to charge them no matter what. So if you buy them separately, they come with like a mini dock where you can charge them.
Yeah, a little wire, yeah.
I always thought it was odd. I thought, why not just throw a USB-C port at the bottom as well? Just to, if you're just around and you don't have the dock with you, you need to charge one controller. The amount of times my right controller dies first because I'm using it for walkabout, for example. Just throw it on USB, it'd be a fast charge. But no, you have to have the whole dock, which is interesting. It is not deal breaker, but it's like, I would have thought they could have thrown that in. They didn't talk about this in the Connect, but it has haptic triggers, like we're saying, and
Mm-hmm.
you see where the controllers how they're like angled slightly on the side, they angled like down. I always thought there was I wonder why that was you can obviously rest your thumb there, but that's also a pressure point. So
Yeah,
it has like
it's like an
6 newtons
extra button.
of force
Yeah.
in a way. And they say it's going to be good to when you're like pinching things. So I'm thinking of like chess club when I'm pinching to pick the piece, you could just use the pressure rather than, if you were doing it
Yeah.
with the controller.
Maybe you could have a real thumb more.
Can you imagine? Just like a pressure on the top thumb. Um,
Ow.
they're nice. They look good. I mean, we spoke about it before because these have been pretty much leaked for ages, but ringless is going to be the future. I don't think it will be in the Quest 3. I think once again, you could probably just buy these for Quest 3 if you really wanted to. I wonder in Quest 3 you could buy a cheaper version that doesn't come with controllers or comes with these type of controllers, I
Hmm.
wonder I wonder if you could do that. But anyway, that was going past the point. But um ringless is going to be amazing for something like Golf Plus, for example, we just mentioned. You have to put your arms behind you as you're swinging the club, and it does lose tracking. And we spoke about before how Beat Saber loses tracking when on Quest 2
Yeah,
on
the
standalone.
perfect tracking's a pretty good selling point.
Yeah, so it's always going to track you no matter what, which is very good. I'm not sure how. So they also mentioned legs. Now that they showed legs in the Connect, but they actually use motion capture for those legs, so they're fake legs, which was a shame because they were jumping and like kicking, and I was like, "This is wow, this is amazing." And it was completely false. So that was very reminiscent of the 2021 Connect. Um, but apparently the cameras on the controllers could also potentially look at the legs to
Can
actually have
help
those
out.
tracking.
Yeah,
Yeah. So they're like computers themselves, as Mark said in the Connect itself.
they're very, very smart, these controllers.
Yeah. Do you think there's a potential that you'd buy them just for the Quest 2?
Uh,
If lots of places, like lots of games, update it to have haptics and such.
I mean, potentially, I guess, but probably not. I'm
Mm.
unless I mean, I just feel like I'd rather just have my Quest 3 controllers.
Yeah, if they come as they come. What else was on there? Okay, yeah, so this was cool for me is that you could play Demio, for example, in mixed reality on Quest Pro from launch day, and I'm definitely going to try that. There was a few mixed reality games actually, like Cubism was one, Resil Player 22, Puzzling Places, as you mentioned before. And you could just go into, say, your kitchen and just draw out the board where you'll have it on your like kitchen counter or something, or in your living room, and just play Demio
Yeah, it's
there,
pretty
which is
cool.
cool.
Yeah,
Only issue is that obviously this battery life for the Quest Pro is okay. Let's talk about
it's
that actually.
shorter than a Demio game.
It's around 90 minutes on average, 1 to 2 hours of battery life.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a big problem?
Do I think that's a big problem?
Yeah. Do you think that's a
Uh,
big
I mean, it seems like
fifteen
an
hundred dollar
odd
headset?
problem to have when you're pushing it for work.
Hmm.
But I guess if you're also pushing it for work in 90-minute segments, then you're good.
I guess also
Um,
when you're at the desk, you would have it plugged in.
it's part of why I think that Quest 3 will not have all the face tracking and all that. I imagine that just eats up at the battery is all those cameras going all the time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think, yeah, definitely. I think you're right. I think with the Quest 3, I mean, speaking of the Quest 3, Mark Zuckerberg did mention the Quest 3 outside the Connect. He was asked about it and he said it will probably cost around $300 to $500. So this
Hmm.
is 3 times less than the Quest Pro. And obviously he said he won't come out this year, which is pretty obvious. So there's some people were hoping that it would also drop this year, but it's never going to
No,
happen.
probably Connect
Um,
2023.
what are some of the features if that you think that would cross over from Quest Pro to Quest 3? Like which would make a lot of sense, for example.
Yeah, the pass through, color
Hmm.
pass through.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
the that for sure.
I
And
think
probably some of the controller stuff.
yeah, maybe some of like the haptic feedback might be
Yeah,
in the actual Quest 2 Pro controllers. Yeah, I
yeah.
don't think
Maybe
eye
some
tracking will come
facial.
in.
Maybe some facial like haptics like PSVR.
Oh, in the actual headset itself, in the actual headset. That's a good idea. That's a good call. I think, yeah, I think you're right. I think stuff like I don't think the controller's going to be chargeable. I think that's going to still stay as batteries. For example, I think if you look at the Pico 4, I think that's basically what the Quest 3 is going to be pretty much like on top of with some extra, the better chipset
Oh,
and
they'll definitely have they'll
such.
definitely have the better chipset and
The
pancake
pancake
lenses.
lenses. Yeah. But I don't think the facial eye tracking, I think they take too much. Yeah, I think you're right. I think they're gonna have too much. And I
Yeah.
think they'll have ringed controllers, just because it's just too much for one tech. The Quest Pro is pretty much gonna be like the what do you call it? I don't know if it's like it'll be like a dev headset in a way, but it'll be the one that has all the bells and whistles and those like testing features, and then
Mm-hmm.
they will start to trickle down to the Quest line at some point.
Yeah, it'll have some of them. Yeah, the
Yeah.
cheaper ones.
So are you gonna get this Quest Pro or no?
No, no.
Yeah. I'm Here's my thoughts on it. Like a lot of people online are really disappointed. I saw a lot of YouTube videos. Well, I didn't see them. I just saw the thumbnail, which said disappointed, trash, whatever, whatever. And I completely disagree. I think this is a very exciting piece of hardware. I think that this is Gen 1. Gen 1 of the tech. I think, yes, okay, Gen 1 is going to have a probably bad battery life. I compare the Quest Pro to something like a workstation laptop. Like I used to have one of these when I was doing university, because it was the only kind of laptop that will run engineering CAD software or whatever. But even though it was a laptop, pretty much had to plug it in all the time. That battery life was like an hour tops before it died. And it was a beast. It was massive and such, but it got the job done, but had to plug it in no matter what. I think it's the same with this one. I think one day this will have 10 hours of battery life or something and be able to last for long. But we're so far away from that,
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
think a
it's
lot of
just
people, yeah, go on.
no, I was just gonna say all the stuff just is not there yet
No,
to drain the
no.
battery as soon.
I
It'd be
was
way too heavy to have a battery that would last long enough.
It's already almost a kilogram as well,
Yeah.
which it's almost a pound. No, it's actually more than a pound. Yeah, more than a pound. It's like 1.5 pounds. This headset. What was I gonna say? But I think I think the what it could do right now is really promising. I think the stuff with immersed and workrooms is really cool. Where, for example, I run a 13-inch MacBook Pro. That's my daily driver, and I love it. And I go to the library quite often to just do some other work and such, like just to get away a bit. And the cool thing is like I'm learning to code a little bit right now. And the 13-inch MacBook Pro is quite small with the coding. Like you can get by it, but I feel like when I'm trying to build something more, you need
Probably
an
want
extra
more
screen.
screens.
Yeah. And the 16-inch MacBook Pro is, even though it's bigger, it's not going to cut it. You can't really replace the 27-inch monitor dual setup or the widescreen setup. And the fact that I could take my 13-inch laptop, take the Quest Pro to the library, for example, put the 13-inch laptop here, and then have like three massive screens no matter where I am,
Yeah,
is exciting. I
they're
think
pretty
that's
nice.
that's that's the exciting part of it. Um, and all of I think it's more of a mixed reality headset than anything.
For
It
sure.
has the VR things, and I want to mention something else as well. A lot of people look at the specs of this headset and go, "Oh, it's not much better than Quest Pro, if that." Like the it only can go up to 90 hertz. It can't even do 120.
That
The
was pretty
the
bad.
the resolution is not 4K or anything. In fact, I believe it's pretty much identical to Quest 2. Um, and it's better because they've done some software, but that's pretty much it. And in some terms, the Pico 4 is a bit more powerful, or not a bit like it will look better in terms of some of the visuals, and when it comes to like gaming is what it looks like on the spec sheet. But I think this is like an Apple thing where Apple also doesn't have the best spec sheet, when it comes to phones. The One Plus phone, for example, for Android, amazing spec sheet compared to like an iPhone. But then there's a lot of stuff that the iPhone does way better. I think it's more about the software here and how much they can push that chip.
Yeah.
And that chip, they're working with Qualcomm themselves. So there's like a custom chip for this Quest in particular. So I think it's all about what they can do with it rather than an actual spec sheet and what's better. I don't think you can compare spec by spec. It's more about the actual
Yeah.
experience.
They better hope that they start selling some of these to some businesses before Apple comes out, because I do think Apple
Yeah,
will beat them in the Pro line.
yeah, I agree. But it's good that they got the Microsoft partnership as well.
Yeah,
Um,
but people who use Apple don't give a shit about that either.
no, I mean I use Apple. I don't even bother with Word. I've got Pages and it works fine. Stuff like that. But they also said Adobe's coming. They've got some TV stuff like Peacock and such is coming. I think that's all around in Quest. Yeah, I think this headset looks really cool, and I'm really excited to try it out and get my hands on. And I'll have more information when I actually try it out on the next podcast. But a lot of people are, excuse my French, shitting on this headset, and I don't think you should. I think it's just an exciting headset, exciting piece of hardware. I'm excited, and I think everyone in the VR space should be excited because this
I
is going to come out. Apple's will come out at some point. The Valve Deco looks like it will come out sooner rather than later. Everything's starting to happen, you know.
I think most people just don't want general public to assume that this is for gaming,
Mm,
and that this will really enhance your gaming experience, because it really, I mean, it really won't. It will
no,
enhance it, but not, oh no,
it seems
not
like it will enhance
$1,500
it.
worth.
It enhance it in comfort. It seems like, but that's about it. It shouldn't even
Yeah,
have
but
full light
I
blockers
mean,
unless you spend another
my
50
shit's
bucks.
my shit's super comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. You've got the custom strap on it and such, and
Yeah.
everything's good to go. So yeah, yeah, yeah. I think maybe more like comfortable out the box, but that's pretty much it. But yeah, $1,500 is no joke. I feel like they're selling this for a profit too, and I think they need to. I think this is going to be the one that they try and sell for a profit. I heard, I think on Twitter, someone or in one of the Twitter Spaces someone said that their company bought like six of these or three or six of these or something like that straight out the gate because they're going to use
That's
it.
pretty wild.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be common. I mean, a lot of businesses bought like 60 quests, for example, Quest 2s for their businesses. So buying this, I feel like is going to upgrade it a little bit more.
This would
So
be really cool for like schools too, potentially. I don't know.
if they can
A whole
afford, but I don't
classroom.
know, the school budget ain't that big. The school budget is one
There's some
headset.
private schools that supply their kids with friggin' MacBooks.
Do they? Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. I'm really intrigued to see what it looks like with the monitor setup. Also just came to my head. Uh they announced Xbox Games Pass is gonna come in like a
Yeah, it's
cloud
pretty
form.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think I mean I know PJ, friend of the show on VR Verdict, he has an Xbox Series X, loves his Xbox Series X. I know he would love it if you could just plug it into the Series X just to have a bigger screen. I feel
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that's
you can get Xbox Game Pass working right now on your Quest 2. I have done it.
hmm
But there are hoops, and it's not necessarily the easiest and or the best experience.
mm,
But it looks like in the built for it app, you'll be able to actually like play in probably be able to change the size of the screen, be way
hmm
more comfortable. And I think I was limited to 720p before, so I'm
mm,
curious about that, like what it'll stream at, and the
mm.
latency and all that. But
Yeah.
it's pretty cool if you could have an Xbox. If you can have a Quest 2 and it be your Xbox as well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, if the I've heard good things about the cloud streaming, like it does work quite well if you have a very good internet connection. So yeah, I'll see if I can try that out. I don't know if it's available at launch. A
Hmm.
lot of things are, but I'm not sure if it is. Final thing on the Quest Pro before we kind of wrap up, I would say. What
Yeah.
did you think about the avatars? Because they kind of pushed the avatars quite a lot.
Uh, as like the part I cared least about and really honestly paid attention least about it. But the face tracking, eye tracking is pretty cool. The avatar bit. Do you mean like the futuristic avatars or like the meta avatars?
No, the meta ones. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like when Zuckerberg came out.
Yeah.
Wait, first of all, did you watch it in Horizons or in VR?
No. I was at work. I was watching it on the
fair.
go and listen to some of it.
Because I thought with the avatars, just quickly on that, because I was saying me, I didn't really pay attention too much, but when Mark came out, when he switched to avatar version, thought it looked not great with his face. It looked a bit, odd and such. But in the actual trailer for the Quest Pro, thought the avatars looked wicked. Especially there was one part where this woman's playing golf, and then this other woman's in a meeting in workrooms there, and she goes, "Are you playing golf right now?" And the way how she turned around and her face just like it perfectly matched what you would think, and it looked fantastic, and it was in very good quality, the avatars, and I was like, that's the avatars which looked really good.
That's pretty cool.
The one that Zuckerberg came out with just didn't hit it for me. His face looked really odd, and it's a really odd decision. But the one in the trailer looked great.
Did it look odd because it looked odd, or did it look odd because it's the Zuck?
Because it's the Zuck. It looks a little bit weird. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Also, they also this came to my head. Yeah, go on.
I do kind of want the controllers. I'm not gonna lie. But the fact that I can't,
are you buying it right now?
No, the fact that I can't use them immediately with the Quest 2, like
you can't buy them. You can't buy them separately right now.
You can't. I saw that they're on the store, but you
can't buy them. No, gotcha. As far as I saw when I saw it, you can't buy them yet. I think when they can be used for Quest 2.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, why would you have them? Because they don't work.
That's what I'm saying. Now, so there's no point right now.
No. I wonder when that update will come out and see. It'd be cool if I could just get those and compare them to the Quest 2. But one that final thing, because I just remembered something, just to say it. They talked about the active fit pack that was meant to come out earlier this year in January, and it's finally coming out on the 25th.
It's like $1 million, I think.
It's like $60 or something like that, but essentially it's like a silicon faceplate, which is like sweat resistant kind of thing, or similar to the to other fitness ones out there that have been released, like the Supernatural one that goes over, and they have the hand straps that go over the hands rather than on the wrists, which actually look quite nice. They look like Apple Watch straps, to be honest, but they look quite nice. They're expensive on the get-go, but then if you think about something like going to Kiwi Design or something and adding up all three of those, or both of those products, it's pretty much the same price. So it's actually not that bad. I won't be picking up because I have the Supernatural cover, and that just works wonders, to be honest.
Yeah, I also will not be picking up. I am good, but the fact that you brought up Fit Pack reminds me, if folks want Supernatural trial, hit me up. I got some friend codes. I can give you 30 days free. And Jenna took me up on that offer and then enjoyed it, and now is a subscriber and got me $25 to the store, and I have a Supernatural hoodie coming.
Oh, sick. You have a Supernatural hoodie.
So thank you. Thank you, Jenna.
Cool. I wonder if that's only for new Supernatural users, I assume.
It is. And apparently if you've done the trial before, you cannot redo the trial.
Because I haven't got it at the moment, because obviously I'm here, but I'm looking forward to jumping back into Supernatural when I come back in a couple of weeks' time. But that's a shame. I would have jumped on that. But never mind. But that was pretty much the Connect. To wrap up, I would just say it was a solid conference. I will be getting the Quest Pro just to test it out, but I'm most likely going to return it, just because it's Gen 1. It's Gen 1 hardware. There's going to be some growing pains. It's going to be, I tweeted out, it's going to be like the Apple Watch 1, where it's it's a decent concept, but it's just not there. It relies too much. The battery's pretty poor, relies too much on the iPhone, etc., etc. But then, Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4, it gets more mature and it's gonna be better. I think also that this is not gonna last. This is not gonna be like how like Quest 3 will probably be out next year, so that's 3 year time cycle. I think the Quest Pro will just get updated in a couple years time. I think
I
Gen
mean, the
2 will
fact
come
that it
out quickly.
uses this chipset that the Oculus 2 pretty much uses, I mean, it says
Yeah,
it all.
just with a bit more RAM, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Just so you can run apps. So you can actually run browsers in
It
game
basically runs
because
more efficiently. Yeah.
yeah. So I think the next Quest Pro Gen 2 will be out in 2024 at the same time, but I feel like by that point Apple may have spoken.
For sure.
And who will also have their Gen 1 growing pains, but yeah. I'm a big I don't know if I'd say Apple fanboy, but I like me Apple stuff,
Yeah,
it
I'd
works
I'd go
really
so far as to
well.
say fanboy.
I did work for them for a bit. But
And I like Apple. I've got a good amount of Apple products, but
also people who are talking about that this Quest Pro is not for gaming, it's a disappointment and such. $1,500. I saw someone say this the other day. Just buy a good PC for that price. You get a solid VR ready PC for $1,500, like a solid
decent.
one.
Yeah, I do see
Yeah,
a lot of the content creators are upgrading to the 40 series.
yeah. I saw that. I saw that. That thing, that 4090. I think it's the size
It's
of the
big.
PS5 almost.
It's quite big. Yeah.
And that thing's massive. But anyway. But that was pretty much the Connect in a nutshell. I'm very excited for the next podcast when I actually have the Meta Quest Pro in my hands and I can talk to you about it a bit more. I'm really excited to try it and go from
We
there.
can't wait.
I can't wait. I can't wait. By the time I land back, I'll go straight to the post office and pick it up. And
Yep.
pick it
And
up.
your 30 days begins.
My 30 days weekends. All right, just to finish off the show, something non-VR related. Samson, it's story time.
Oh
It's
yeah, 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 yeah.
time to
We'll bring
tell
it
a
back.
nice little bedtime story.
We need Eric's beep 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 beep. It
I'll
sort of
play it
falls.
right now as we're talking. This is going on right now.
Yeah, it sort of falls into the driver's ed
Oh.
bit. It was the end of my shift,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Friday. I was pretty hungry, and I stopped by Chick-fil-A. I was like, all right,
Mm.
let me get some little
Solid
late
choice.
night meal here, and yeah, I'm waiting in line, and I see the guy in front of me. See, but it looks like an abnormal interaction between the window dude and the
Mm-hmm.
car driving dude. And I try to mind my own business and ignore this interaction, but I sense something's up.
Mm-hmm.
Something's awry, if you will. I
Mm-hmm.
pull up. Window guy looks at me. He's got a smirk, and he says, "Dude in front of you paid for your meal." And I was
Whoa.
like, "All right, all right."
Whoa.
Now, I'm not about to break this karma train.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need that bad juju. So I take a glance at my mirror, the whoever's behind me,
Mm-hmm.
and I sigh of relief. It's a single woman. I don't see a
Not like a
family of
family
children.
meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I say, I'll get the order behind me. And he kind of smirks and he's like, this has been going on for 10 cars in a row
Wow.
now.
Wow.
And
Wow, that's
so
amazing.
yeah, 10 people in a row apparently just buying the meal for the people behind them because
Wow.
no one wants the bad karma of breaking this chain. And I did make out pretty good on this deal, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you get a big order yourself? And
I had
you got a small order?
I had not small order, and the lady behind me definitely had a normal order. A normal
Wow.
order.
Wow. That's nice. That's a very heartwarming story to end the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, there you have it.
Very heartwarming. The people of Massachusetts.
But it
Uh,
ultimately defeats the purpose of doing the deed,
yeah,
right?
because you're
Because
just
everybody is just like nobody's getting anything out of this other than
yeah.
paying a bill that they don't know how much it is. It's
The
just like
question
roulette.
question is, if you saw a family behind you, would you
All right,
continue?
so a part of me did think like, let me just get the next two people's, because that will certainly just break the chain, right? Nobody then the next person pulls up and they're like, oh, the person in front of you got it. And they're like, oh, let me get the person behind me. And they're like, actually, they got that one too.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, nobody's gonna like keep like be like, let me get 3 cars behind me, you know what I mean? So that might have broken it in the most I was trying to think in the most positive way that this chain could ultimately be broken. Somebody is gonna have to be paid for it, I think, ultimately, though.
For sure, for sure. Oh, that's a very, very heartwarming story. I thought because I saw there's two things I thought that story was gonna go. First of all, the other day I saw a little video of Joe Biden walking into a quesadilla place, and they said it's on the house, and they were like, no, here's like a 50, give it for the guy who comes next. And I was like, was Joe Biden in front of you? That was the first question. The second question, I thought the guy from the Chick-fil-A was gonna go, oh my God, you're Samson from Let's Talk Oculus.
That would be something. Jesus
One
Christ.
day, one day that will happen. One day. But not yet. Not today. But anyway, very heartwarming story to end the podcast. To be honest, story time. Anyone on the Discord, if you have a story that you want to share in the podcast, maybe share a what was your first time in VR story. That'd be actually fun segment just to put what your first time in VR was and what you played. That'd be interesting to hear about. But story time with Samson. I'll see if I can bring a story for next time. But
There you
yeah.
have it.
All right, sweet. So we won't see you next week. We'll see you the week after where we'll have hands-on with the Quest Pro. But for now, have a good day and a good week, and we'll see you then.